Georgia homeowners are being forced from their homes to help power AI data centers. Now, listen, Georgia Power, this company, they're expanding their infrastructure to meet electrical demands of artificial intelligence data centers. And this utility company is constructing 35 miles of high voltage transmission lines across Coweta and Fayette counties. So the project runs through more than 300 private properties. It's going to force several families to have to sell their homes or face state-sanctioned land seizure. Now, if you're curious as to why this is legal, you're going to have to be familiar with a concept known as eminent domain, which is the idea that the government is going to say, hey, we're gonna put up the act for a second that like we're still a nation with laws, and we're not gonna pretend that we're any better. We're gonna pretend that we're better than the communist regimes that would confiscate people's farms and whatnot. But in reality, we're no better than that at this point. In reality, the United States, a lot of times, unfortunately, the United States, you have to give the United States credit when it deserves credit, but you got to criticize it when it deserves criticism. The United States has for its entire existence has done this. The seizure of people's land for the personal gain of like major private industry. That's just kind of a well-known thing that we do here. And you know what I mean? This legal mechanism just allows utilities companies mostly to condemn private land for public use. It's saying that you as a personal resident you're taking up this land when it could be used to benefit your community. And residents are arguing that the designation is being abused. They're pointing to the Georgia Power's own estimates that 70 to 80% of the new grid capacity will strictly serve private corporate data centers. And impacted homeowners are arguing that displacing families for the benefit of multi-billion-dollar tech corporations violates the intended public use of the utility law of eminent domain, which I kind of argue is a decent defense. I'm going to be honest with you, not a lot of people are on the side of like, oh, we need more kids to be able to cheat on their finals. We need more people to be able to use ChatGPT. Give us your home. That thing that you were hoping to maybe pass down to your child, give us that. And then we will tear it down and we will build up these ugly power lines. And we're like, don't get it twisted. This home is coming down. We are tearing this shit up. Legal estimates are already suggesting that 30 homes are facing total demolition and hundreds of other property owners will lose their land to permanent easements. Affected families report that initial buyout offers from Georgia Power have fallen significantly below market value. The utility company has defended its process, stating that the eminent domain is used only as a last resort and that all compensation offers align with formal independent property appraisals. Independent property appraisals. They're not going to let you go in there and get somebody to take a look at the addition you put onto your land anytime soon. They're gonna be like, what is the land itself worth? The house we're not even using. Why would we pay you for what the house is worth? That thing's just coming down in a second. So, despite the draw of attention to the state lawmakers, the public backlash growing online, energy analysts are noting that the Georgia's grid strain is a preview of broader national conflict. Tech companies are rapidly scaling up computer infrastructure and competing with a lot of local communities, not just in Georgia. This is Minnesota. This is your local state. This is if you live in Illinois, you're kind of fucked. Arizona, they're on their way to getting you pretty good. Land and electricity resources, that's going to be a major debate of the 2030s, and guess what? They're probably going to win, unfortunately. If anything, the only thing that a lot of people are going to resort to, because there's going to be town halls that are falling apart. There's going to be people that are just like, well, shit, there's no way to get them to listen. And then there's like people who are watching The Riddler and whatnot too many times, and they're like, fuck it, I'm just going to like strap a bomb to my chest and I'm going to run into this place. That's the nuts that are out there. That's the people that are, unfortunately, this is a reality. This is like, unfortunately, the 2030s are looking like it's going to be a lot of like, I think that we're going to have a lot of struggle at home because we are realizing that maybe a lot of people want to have the debate be around immigration, which there's merit to that debate. A lot of people want the debate to be around what is the Ukraine's rights, their land or whatever. No one gives a fuck. Everybody wants to go, the Palestinians, the Israelis, and it's like, All right, it's across the sea. You can't really get me. You can't like I can't sleep anymore, and I have a perpetual ringing in my ears, and I have headaches every day, and like because this data center moved in, and now there's like Truman Show type like walls all around my neighborhood, and they paint fake clouds on it to make everybody feel like the sky is still normal. It's just like it's dystopian. It's terrifying, and a lot of people listen. This will be the 2030s, unfortunately. It'll be like hey, I'm making a point. You'll have the stage to talk in a second. The 2030s, from my prediction, will be an intermingled mix of like domestic terrorism against a lot of like major companies, unfortunately, and like a lot of people who are just going, well, shit, like normal society, unless you're living out in the woods, like the Unabomber, is like unattainable. Like, I'm just going to be honest with you. That's the sentiment when you listen to these town halls. It's all like people that are being driven nuts. They're like, they're crazy. These people are crazy because they feel like they have no other option.
All right, imagine waking up one day and being told the home your family has lived in for years is going to be demolished to help power the AI boom, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. That is what is happening to some homeowners in Georgia. They've been given an ultimatum: sell your home or the state will take it. Utility giant Georgia Power is planning to build a new transmission line so it can handle new data centers.
Wow.
Skylar Henry has more from a county just outside Atlanta.
I'm a single mom. I work hard for everything.
How do you put a price on a home you never intended to sell? One filled with more than 2 decades of memories.
I don't know, but you better figure it out.
When this was built,
The treehouse where you grew up playing pretend. The yard where you buried your pets. The greenhouse that fed your family.
When you talk about...
Shut up about those pets. We're going to dig them up.
yeah,
Right? It's y'all's.
it's ours.
Not for very long. We're going to come on over there and we're like the new Tom Cruise movie. We're Digger. We're going to dig it up.
It's my mom's. It's mine. It's my daughter's. It's our family. We belong here.
Now you know how the natives feel, Whitey.
But Ansley Brown's childhood home likely won't be here much longer. That's because the state's largest utility, Georgia Power, says it needs the area to make way for a 35-mile-long transmission line.
Georgia Power has been here for as long as Ansley's mother has owned this property. It's just beyond the tree line. Now, with the expansion of this latest project, they're looking to take the 2.5 acres the house sits on.
Georgia Power says increasing demand from homes, businesses, and data centers has...
I will be the negotiator here. I think this family, I sympathize with them, and I sympathize with their entire neighborhood that's going to be evacuated for these data centers. I think it's really terrible, and I think that I can figure something out for them. We're going to give them their own plot of land, somewhere out in maybe like Oklahoma. I think that's a good territory for it. Somewhere that's just not being used. Maybe it's like an old nuclear test site or something like that, and we're going to call it, what's this family's last name? We're going to call it That Last Name Reservation. And maybe we're going to allow them to have like weed dispensaries before all the white communities. We're going to let them have casinos. But this is Whitey's turn. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. The next version of colonization where like people are being forced off their land, there's new trails of tears and shit like that. It's going to be whole communities of people being evacuated out so that this land can be used for data centers. That's what it's going to be. And it's going to be great. It's like, this will be the great equalizer. You're going to see in, 80 years' time, tons of white families out west. They all develop Indian accents. They're all like, gosh, my great-great-grandmother called that land home back out there in North Carolina or whatever. Like, do you see the vision? Am I making any, like, remote form of sense to any person listening at this point, or have I lost everybody?
Georgia Power says increasing demand from homes, businesses, and data centers has outpaced the capacity of its existing grid. And building a new transmission line requires acquiring more than 300 parcels of land, including residential properties.
What did your mom tell you she wanted for this property to be?
Generational wealth. So I have a young daughter. This home is supposed to go to her. True generational wealth was the idea.
Not
and now
anymore.
it's being stripped from us.
Georgia Power estimates 70 to 80% of the power on this new line is expected to help serve data centers, being built in part to support the growing demands of artificial intelligence. It says the remaining 20 to 30% of power will serve the state's growing residential and commercial demand.
all power generation starts somewhere.
Holly Levitt is a Georgia Power spokesperson.
We take into factor our customers, first and foremost. They are at the center of our business and the core of what we do. We want them to be able to have...
Not the people we hurt. The people we hurt are just sort of on the side.
...their daily lives. And we take that seriously.
We take it so seriously. We take the convenience of our customers so seriously. We'll destroy your home. We will ruin your family's life if you dare to step in Georgia Power's way.
...be able to have their daily lives. And we take that seriously. It is something needed for survival. And we empathize with these community members who are seeing this growth.
Georgia Power told us that they feel as if they've done this process responsibly. What would you say to that?
I disagree. You can't tear down 35 miles of rural Georgia and it not hurt something or somebody. And to say that you're doing it in the name of data centers is a slap in the face to us, our community, our animals.
They don't care. That's okay.
An agreement with Georgia Power to sell. Brown says if she didn't, the utility could have sought to acquire her property through eminent domain, a legal process that allows private property to be taken with compensation for projects determined to serve a public purpose.
Eminent domain is always, a last resort for us, and it's something we never...
Look at how giddy this sociopath is to destroy this family's home. She's eager, by the way. I don't care that she's a spokesperson. She's the person who's, getting Molotov cocktails thrown through her window right now.
To us, it's theft. It's literally $1 billion company stealing land from smaller people who can't fight back. We don't have the money to fight Georgia Power.
So that's why a few months ago, Ansley took her story to TikTok.
My childhood home is being taken by Georgia Power.
Her videos went viral, and she began sharing stories of others in similar situations, like Cynthia Van Epps.
What is it taking from her? Look behind me. It's taking this entire backyard.
Yeah, all of these rich white people with decent... Listen, I know they're not rich. They're, middle class. All of these, decent middle-class white people with pools in their backyards and shit, they're gonna have their land stolen by a major corporation. This is the great equalizer. Because finally, the people who thought that they had a little bit of money, the people who were yeah, we're not millionaires, but we have, enough to where we're gonna be comfortable. Not even you're safe anymore. You're not safe. I know you thought you were safe enough to, ignore your kids' problems or ignore the generation behind you's problems. It's all over. This is the great equalizer. You will be kicked out of your land. You will be outsourced. You will be stolen up in this, this great bubble that we are forming called AI, and you will be affected by this. It's irreversible. It's happening.
The pool and everything.
We don't want to move. That's the bottom line.
Van Epps and her husband raised 4 kids here.
18 years, a lot of memories here.
Our 2 youngest, who are 16 and 17, are... Yeah, this is the house they've known. This is the only house that they've known.
If Van Epps doesn't sell Georgia Power her property, she says the utility can obtain an easement across a chunk of her backyard, which would require removing the pool, and would leave the transmission line just feet from her home.
One of their trucks could pull up right outside our bedroom door, 12 feet from our bedroom door, and there's absolutely nothing we can do about it.
What do you say to someone who will push back on any sort of offer that's out there?
She, swallowed so hard when this question started getting asked.
Say to someone who will push back on any sort of offer that's out there and say, well, a price tag can't replace memories.
Oh, gosh. It almost makes me emotional because I have those memories in, my house, and I get how deeply...
Oh, quit it, you skank. You skank for $1 billion, $1 million corporation. You are a skank. You're a whore. You've sold away your humanity. You've sold away your compassion. You've sold away every part that have ever made you a remotely attractive person because you don't have your looks. Unfortunately, you're this washed-out fucking loser from the South who, by the way, cannot afford a decent nail tech. I can spot that from a mile away. You look spun out. You look like a geek. There's nothing going for you in your life, so you've proceeded to sell what little of your body you have to this company to speak. You're speaking for it. You have been pirated. You've been possessed by this demon, and you've allowed it. You've allowed your temple, once was a temple, now it's more of an Incan ruin of a body, to be pirated by these men in suits. You're a whore. You are a skank for a corporation, and I hope you're comfortable knowing that. You continue to gag on it, skank.
personal people's homes are.
I get how personal people's homes are. Like, I'm emotional thinking about the idea of it happening to me. But it's not happening to me. So, like, that's the thing.
Gosh, it almost makes me emotional because I have those memories in, like, my house, and I get how deeply personal people's homes are. I would just say that we see you and we hear you, and
we see you, we hear you, and don't get us wrong. You're right in our line of sight. We're looking down the barrel of our sniper rifle, and we see you and your family. We hear your begs. We hear you. We understand that you don't want this to happen, and we're doing it anyways.
We want this process to be respectful and transparent.
This sounds like a mortician. This sounds like we want this assassination. We want this murder to be clean. We don't want any we don't want any bad blood. We just want it to be a nice, clean procedure where you just kind of stop existing.
And that is going to ultimately benefit you. We want that.
FedEx and Brown don't buy that. And while they both know it's likely too late to save their homes, they don't want to see this happen to anyone else.
My mom wants an apology. She wants an apology from Georgia Power. That's it.
And it's because of how she feels as if she's been treated.
Yeah. I mean, for an entire year, they have bullied her. And there is no sorry. They even told us they don't pay for pain and suffering. So that's what we want. We want an apology from Georgia Power. We want them to say, hey, we're sorry.
When asked if the utility company is willing to apologize, Georgia Power told us they have worked hard to be transparent, negotiate in good faith, and make this process as easy as possible. As for the data centers and who's behind them, Georgia Power told us it doesn't publish lists of customers to protect safety and security. Guys, this is obviously a big story. It's one of those things that we've talked about for months now.
Yeah.
These data centers, communities, obviously not in my backyard, but I think the real crux of this argument here is, what do you say to people who've owned these properties for 20, 30 years, and it's like, you gotta go.
And you feel the emotion. It's interesting to me that Georgia Power says we've tried to make this process as easy as possible. Their definition of easy as possible is very different from what these families are experiencing. It's still hard to believe there's nothing they can do. Nothing.
And the reality is that you're looking at, this is going to happen more and more, because you're going to need, over the next 20 years, 10 to 20 years, 10 to 15% more power than is being generated right now in the United States. That's probably 100 nuclear reactors if you have to generate 110 gigawatts.
Yes,
How do you put a
indeed.
price tag on this? Truly.
Guess what? It's gonna be your house next. It's gonna be anybody's house. They're grabbing it up, and there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing that can be done. There's no way to fight this. There's town councils. Your town council, it's not happening to him. It's not happening to his family. He lives next to the lake. You expect him to give a shit? You're out in the boondocks. You know what I mean? What do you want him to do? Oh, you live on the edge of my town where there's this data center that's being constructed. Fuck you. Fuck you. Who cares about you and your family? I don't care. I don't have a reason to care. My life isn't in danger. My family's living fine. I'm doing great. Nothing's wrong. Nothing's going wrong in society to the point where, there's no form of, I have my own private police force. Even if I were to ever be, accosted, I have my own private police force. So don't think you're ever going to be able to do anything. Like, it's over. We win. That's how it goes. And if you bitch about it, then you're just being a bitch. I'm sorry, you lost a game you didn't even know that you were playing. Congratulations.